Welcome back again to the new learning video. Today, we're diving deep into what is essentially the master blueprint for building anything and everything on AWS. Look, if you're building in the cloud, you want it to be secure, you want it to be efficient, and you definitely want it to be resilient. To do that, you need a solid plan. So, let's get into it.
I want you to think about it like this. You wouldn't just start building a massive skyscraper without a detailed architectural plan, right? Of course not. The exact same logic applies to the cloud. The AWS Well-Architected Framework is that plan. It's the official guide from AWS, and it's designed to make sure that what you build isn't just working, but that it's truly excellent, from top to bottom. It's your blueprint for success.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to lay down the core foundation. These are the absolute non-negotiables for stability and security. Then we'll move on to the efficiency plan, which is all about making our build smarter, not just harder. And finally, we'll tie it all together with the master plan, seeing how all these pieces click into place to create a truly great architecture.
Let's start with the absolute bedrock. These first three pillars we're about to cover, operational excellence, security, and reliability, are what everything else gets built on. You get these right, and you've got a structure that's built to last. First up is operational excellence. And no, this isn't just about, keeping the lights on. This is all about how you run your systems, how you monitor them, and how you're constantly making them better to deliver real business value. It's the daily discipline of running a top-tier operation.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because the focus here is all about automation and learning. Perform operations as code. That means you get rid of manual, error-prone clicking around. Make frequent, small, reversible changes. That's how you lower the risk of anything going seriously wrong. And maybe most importantly, you have to learn from failures, turning every single incident into a chance to get better.
Okay, so our operational processes are locked down. Now, we've got to secure the building itself. And that brings us to pillar number 2, security. I want you to think of this as the complete, state-of-the-art security system for our skyscraper, protecting everything at every single layer, from the basement all the way up to the penthouse.
So listen up, because this is one of the most critical ideas in all of cloud security, the principle of least privilege. It's a simple concept, but it's incredibly powerful. You only grant the absolute bare minimum permissions needed for a user or a service to do its job, nothing more. This one thing can dramatically slash your risk. Of course, you also need to be able to trace every action and automate your security checks so nothing can slip through the cracks.
And the best part? You're not expected to do all this from scratch. AWS gives you the tools you need. Services like IAM are there to enforce that least privilege model. KMS handles all your complex encryption key management, and GuardDuty is like your own intelligent security guard, constantly scanning for anything suspicious.
Our third foundational pillar, and this is a big one, is reliability. This is all about making sure your application can not only survive failures, but can automatically recover from them. It's not about hoping things won't break, it's about building a system that fully expects they will and knows what to do. This right here is a massive mindset shift from the old ways of doing IT. In the cloud, you have to design for failure from day one. You use things like multiple availability zones and auto-scaling so that if one piece of your system goes down, the whole thing just heals itself with zero human intervention. And you don't just cross your fingers and hope it works. You test it constantly. All right, our foundation is rock solid. Now, let's move on to the efficiency plan. These next pillars are what make our structure not just strong, but also smart, fast, cost-effective, and even environmentally responsible.
Next on the list is performance efficiency. Now, this isn't just about being fast for the sake of being fast. It's about being smart. It means using the exact right computing resources for whatever job you're doing, and constantly evolving your architecture to use the latest and greatest tech so you're never falling behind.
I mean, just look at the difference here. This slide says it all. In the past, you had to guess your capacity needs years in advance and hope you got it right. Now, you can use serverless services like AWS Lambda that just scale up and down automatically. You don't spend months building a global infrastructure. You can deploy your application around the world in minutes. It's a total game changer.
And of course, you can't talk about performance without talking about money, right? That brings us directly to our fifth pillar, cost optimization. This is your financial blueprint. The goal here is simple. Deliver the most business value you can for the lowest possible price, all without sacrificing on those other pillars we talked about. Now, this principle right here might sound super obvious, but it is the biggest advantage of the cloud. Stop spending on unused resources. You only pay for what you actually use. If you have servers just sitting there, idle, you are literally throwing money away. The cloud gives you the visibility and tools to find that waste and get rid of it.
And here's a perfect real-world example of this in action. For jobs that can be interrupted, like some data processing, you can use spot instances and save up to 90%, 90% on your compute costs. Or you can set up a simple rule to automatically move old data from standard S3 storage to the much cheaper Glacier archive. These are simple tweaks that can have a huge impact on your monthly bill. And that brings us to the sixth and newest pillar, sustainability. This is all about understanding and minimizing the environmental impact of running your workloads in the cloud. It's a really important recognition that the things we build digitally have a real-world physical footprint.
And what's so great about this pillar is that sustainability and cost optimization almost always go hand in hand. When you maximize how you're using your resources, you use less power. When you choose more energy-efficient hardware or lean on managed services, you're not just saving money, you're reducing your carbon footprint. It's a total win-win.
All right, we've gone through all 6 pillars. We've laid the foundation, we've built out the efficiency plan. Now let's bring it all together with the master plan and figure out how to keep it all straight.
So I know that's a lot to keep in your head at once. 6 different pillars, all interconnected. How on earth are you supposed to remember all of them when you're in the middle of a project?
Well, I've got a little trick for you. Just remember this acronym, OSRPCS. Okay, so OSRPCS might not exactly roll off the tongue, but just think of it as a quick mental checklist you can run through anytime you're designing something new. Operational excellence, security, reliability, performance, cost, and sustainability.
And that right there is the whole point. This isn't just some textbook theory. The Well-Architected Framework is a practical, hands-on guide. Following these 6 pillars is how you ensure that what you build in the cloud is strong, secure, efficient, and responsible from every possible angle. It's the complete master plan.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Looking at your own work, at your own projects, which one of these 6 pillars really needs the most attention right now? Thank you so much for watching. I love to hear your thoughts, so please let me know in the comment box below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this.